How's it, everybody, and a warm welcome to the NFT show. I am your host, Philip Kalinko, and next to me is Cade Bergman. Cade, what's happening?
Chilling, dude. Good to see you, man.
You too. Another Friday. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I see we got Crypto Dream, we got Gaz. So good to see you guys. We got a packed show, lots of news. The big news, we got Elon Musk buying Twitter. What does that mean for NFTs? And we've got Reddit volume coming down a bit. What does that mean for NFTs? We got Azuki proof of skate auction closing at $2.5 million for one gold-plated skateboard. It's not even solid gold. It's gold-plated. We got SimCity coming in. We've got DC Comics coming in. We got lots happening. Let's get straight into it.
Hell yeah, dude. This is gonna be lit.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, let's do this over here. If you're not already, please subscribe to both my show and Cade's show over here.
Oh yeah.
Then let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So I want to spend a little bit more time than usual on the June analytics because it's almost the end of October. So I'm going to assume that it is, just to put things in perspective. A warning, it is a bit doom and gloom, but there is a silver lining. So if we have a look here, OpenSea monthly volume, this month is the lowest we've had since June last year, $280 million. Compared to last month, which was also very low at 348 million, the month before at $500 million. So we can clearly see that we are still tracking downwards. If we come down over here, yesterday's volume just on OpenSea was about $10 million. OpenSea daily volume in ETH terms yesterday was 4,000 Ethereum. What I wanted to show you, the active traders over here on OpenSea, 300,000 wallets this month. Again, the lowest since June of last year. And the number of active wallets in total since all time is 2.3 million. Now, what's interesting is this Reddit thing is 2.9 million wallets. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about that. But that's quite an incredible statistic because most of us degens have more than one wallet. So you can really assume that this OpenSea number of 2.3 million is at least halved. Whereas most Reddit guys are not degens and don't have more than one wallet. So you've seen in the last month this Reddit surge has really led to almost 3 times the amount of new people being exposed to NFT technology, whether they know about it or not. That's what's happened. And if we look at the Polygon numbers, you're seeing that because remember, Reddit was on Polygon. If you look at October, there was 1.3, well, what's that in Polygon? 130,796,079 versus 72 million the month before. So it's literally doubled in the last month on Polygon. And even here, when this Reddit hype happened, you can see the daily volume in one day was 2.9 million Polygon in one day. So this Reddit thing is actually really, really significant to the space, like hugely. And we're going to dive into that in more details when we get to that segment.
The Reddit thing is exciting for me. Not as much for the specific projects dropping, but I mean, we'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it a lot.
Cool.
It's exciting for me too. I'm really excited about it, and I want to dive deep into it with you for sure.
Fire.
If we have a look at DApp Radar, a great place where you can see the different volumes on OpenSea, marketplaces, NFTs, and different things, dappradar.com. If you don't know, we see yesterday 12 million on OpenSea, X2Y2 1.7 million, Immutable X 794,000, CryptoPunks alone 700,000. Looks Rare 400,000, Axie Marketplace about 148,000, and it goes down from there. So if we round it off, you're looking at about 15, 16 million in the last 24 hours, which is very similar to where we were at last week.
Yeah.
And if we have a look here at Bitcoin and ETH, we've had an incredible couple of days, even though today is slightly down. But just worked it out before the show, we are 20% up week on week on Ethereum. We were about 1,320 last Friday. We're now 1,554. And the interesting thing with Ethereum is that probably by now, but we were almost there just before the show when I checked, almost there, ETH is officially deflationary for the first time in its life. So this whole thing about the change to proof of stake and everything that we saw over there, the big part of it, one of the big changes, obviously we had the eco side of it that is now ecologically friendly. It's a green technology now. But the other big thing is that it's now deflationary. And that has not been the case since the merge, and it's been tracked, and it is now pretty much the case. We're either there or we're about to get there. So that's really, really bullish to see. We also have Bitcoin up about 10% week on week. So we've had a really, really good week as far as the markets go, which is great to see. And Kate, you're not going to believe it, but we've got another green day on the stock exchange. A really good green day. Some numbers came out today which showed us for the first time that it seems as though inflation is coming down, which is what the market is cheering at the moment. We have had some results come out. Amazon came out today, wasn't good. That's why you're seeing that big decline. I do think it will recover, but for today, it's the only red big tech stock on the NASDAQ at the moment. And yesterday, we saw the same thing with Meta, with Facebook. They were down about 10% yesterday, and they really getting punished. They announced that they were making a 9 billion loss, and that is year to date, so in the last 9 months, and that is really due to their metaverse plans, and they also seem to be 5 to 10 years out from it. So it's really interesting because Mark is, let me rather say Mark Zuckerberg, respectfully, very respectfully, is really pinning the entire company and the future of Meta on the metaverse, but all in. If this was a poker hand, he's gone all in. Look, it's a ballsy move, and only time will tell if it pays off. But I think it's a big risk, a very big risk. So yeah, we're gonna see. But I saw a statistic. I was doing some research before the show. If you had bought into Meta when it was Facebook, when they went public 9 years ago, you would be down 10% today from when you bought in 9 years ago.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that just paints a picture, because usually in the stock market with blue chip stocks, you don't look at that. I mean, you're looking at about a 10% return on average. You'd expect to at least double in 10 years. Really, that's what you're looking at. Maybe at least 50% up because we're in a bear market currently. But to be 10% down is really quite telling, and one of the few big shares that we're seeing this with. So lots going on in the market update for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing with Facebook is they've got, I mean, just like Elon Musk didn't fork over all the millions of dollars to buy his new investments. He had tons of investment money from other people who sunk their money into them. And with Facebook and Meta, they likewise, I'm sure, have had lots of outsourced funding, and they're probably like, the fuck? Why are we all so far down? I mean, hopefully the people who invested knew that Zuckerberg's plan is probably a 20 to 40-year vision, which is going to take forever to implement. I just don't know if when they sunk their money in, they really were like, oh, fuck, we're really in here locked in now. So, yeah, I don't know. From a money standpoint, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta think the guys who are putting billions in there are gonna want to see some sort of return. I agree, and not like 20 years down the line. And if you think about it, what have Facebook actually built in their entire existence?
Nuts.
All they
Oh,
built was Facebook. They've built nothing else. Instagram was not built by them; it was bought by them. It's just they aren't known as builders. If you think of like an Apple, they built the iPad, the iPhone, the iWatch, all of that. They builders. They know they've done this before. Facebook has not. Facebook has never. They're now going into a product space with the VR headsets. It's a different experience. Look, he's got bigger balls than me, but this is either going to make or break them in the next 5 to 10 or 15 years or whatever it's going to be. So,
Zuckerberg, if you're watching this, bro,
interesting.
just go ahead and schedule a 60-minute consult with me, Zuckerberg. You need some help.
We'll do a 2-for-1 for you.
We'll give him a discount.
One of us, and both of us will help you out.
Only if he follows back on oh fuck, I don't think does he have Twitter?
I don't know. But we're going to talk a lot about Twitter. There's a lot to talk about Twitter.
I didn't want to spoil it.
All right, let's have a look here at what's trending on the NFT side of things. Let's just refresh over here and see. We'll jump to OpenSea while that's happening. Okay, in the last 24 hours, let's just sort it according to Ethereum. NFT side of things, you're looking at CryptoPunks leading. 413 ETH in volume. Then we've got Clone X sitting nicely at 8.89 Ethereum, being very stable. We've got Bored Ape Yacht Club at 72 Ethereum. I think what I want to do is I want to make it 7 days because it's been 7 days since our last update, and then we can see, because I think Bored Apes is actually down if we look at it that way. Yeah. Pretty level. Other D down 17%, Mutants down 6% week on week. Clone X up 65%. That's not right. It was about 8 Ethereum a week ago. Azuki down. That's also not right. It was about 11 Ether a week ago. I don't know. OpenSea is
they've been bugging.
Not. Yeah, they're not giving us the correct percentage down. Genuine Undead, unfortunately, is pulled back to 0.45. I was rooting for that underdog. We got Moonbirds continuing to bleed, sitting at 8.88. I think that 8% week on week is probably correct. We got the Potatoes, this project by Memeland, who have been quite quiet lately, still tracking up. Again, not 137%, but sitting at 1.55. Neolings, which we spoke about last week, is down to 0.11. Renga sitting at 1.26. Everyone seems to have forgotten about Renga. Doodles sitting at 7.3. There have been a whole lot of rumors that some of the core team is being sacked. They're denying it. Who knows? Just rumors at the moment. But we've got Yugi Yin, which we covered last week, and which I've done a standalone video from that. And that one has gone up to 0.38. I think it was 0.3 when we covered it last week. Again, just ignore this percentage thing. We got everybody's that dropped from yesterday on the OpenSea homepage. It was huge bugs, couldn't mint, and then all of a sudden minted out very quickly. A 10,000 collection.
Wow.
I haven't seen that for a while. Got minted out in about 45 minutes. Once it was fixed, once all the bugs were fixed, mint price was 0.033. Sitting at 0.03, still very early and only dropped yesterday. Big collection. So let's see once the paper hands get kicked out, what's happening over there, and so on. So that's our market update. If we jump to Flips Finance, this is a great place where the percentages are right. We're going to see the percentage change in the last 24 hours. Chromie Squiggles, that art project that's really well respected, up 20%. Clone X up 20%. Bored Ape Yacht Club even. Mutant Apes up 4%. Other D down 3% on the 24 hours. Azuki up just under 5%. Doodles up just under 5%. Digi Daigaku down just under 1%. Yugi Yin up 20%. Last 24 hours. Genuine Undead up 7.7%. Moonbird slightly down 2%. Cool Cats up 6%. Kitaru World up 25%. Bored Ape Kennel Club down 1.3%, and so on. That is the market update. What do you think,
Yeah,
Brad?
I don't have too much to say about those projects. I mean, Genuine Undead, trading this close to Halloween is scary. Like buying, like there's a lot of Reddit projects too that were something to do with spooky, and I think at this point we're October 28th. It would be scary to be gambling. Like I'd need a lot of extra money to be gambling on Halloween tokens this close to Halloween. But I don't have too much to say about the top projects. I mean, there was a project called Friday Beers that I was supposed to have whitelisted for, and they ended up not. And I'm pretty sure they kind of shit the bed like immediately. I forget what they minted out with, but it's been halved since I looked at it like yesterday. Then I saw some like big announcement on their Twitter. So tons of projects with backing from big influencers, tons of followers are not minting out. So they're finding that it's a bit harder to have perceived success in this bear market.
So Friday Beers minted out in 5 minutes, bro.
What was the
I think it's
price?
a 5,000 collection. They are under mint price. I think the mint price was 0.08, if I'm not mistaken. They're sitting at about 0.04, but I think it's a play at this price.
I liked that project. I thought it was good.
They're Web2. I mean, they between their different YouTube channels and things like that, they've got 3, 4, 5 million followers and a lot of views. And so I actually picked 2 up off the floor at 0.04 yesterday. And I'm
that actually might be smart. That actually might be smart.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I just think of projects like Rug Radio, and I think of Full Send, all these other guys who have got these successful podcasts who have come into the space. Even we're seeing a run on Farouk on his projects, Rug Radio, as well as the Nifty Alpha guys are
but they're native to Web3 though. They're very native to Web3. So I feel like it's a pretty big difference though, no?
Yeah, well, Full Send, not really at all. Full Send podcast.
but Full Send is on that's a different level. Friday Beers is not anywhere close to Full Send. Full Send is one of the top. That is one of the absolute top brands in the world.
I agree, but just from a Web 2 versus Web 3 experience side, the other two are Web 3 native. But at 0.004, not financial advice, I picked a couple up, and I'm happy to hold them and see where they go.
True. Yeah, I might do that actually. I do that.
All right, let's jump into the news. Elon Musk buys Twitter. Baby. $44 billion purchase. We've got Binance owning 500 million worth of shares. We have him firing the security head. We have him firing 3 executives today alone. And he's taken it off the stock exchange. He's made it private. He came in with a kitchen sink.
Wait. You say he took it private?
Yeah, so it's going to be delisted off the stock exchange.
Twitter is going to be delisted as a Wow, I did not know that. I feel like that's fucking huge.
Yeah, why? I don't want to have to answer to shareholders. I'm a guy with a sink.
Wow, dude, that's actually fucking cool.
Yeah, man, he's serious here. I mean, so there's a whole lot of speculation about what this means. There's one of 2 options. Either you're throwing everything out, including the kitchen stink, is one of them, right? That's a saying. Or everything's included in the deal, including the kitchen sink, is the other. So either they gave him everything that he wanted, sort of said, keep everything. You can even see a heat in the background over there. Or he's saying he's making sweeping changes. Now, I think it's the latter, because he straight away has fired 3 top executives. Yes. He straight away reinstated Kanye West's banned Twitter account.
And Trump.
And is Trump reinstated? I was going to say, I'm sure
and
Trump
Jordan Peterson probably next.
Yeah, for sure.
As they should, bro.
He wanted free speech. He believes that Twitter is important and shouldn't be censored. And he actually posted this tweet 2 days ago, before it was officially announced, and he says, "This is why I am buying Twitter." In this tweet, fundamentally, he aspires towards this being a free platform. And the interesting thing is, we've got all the staff at Twitter with their grievances. His first thing wasn't addressing them. His first thing was to advertisers. This is what this was. This thread on his Twitter account was a thing to advertisers. It says here, the reason I acquired Twitter, and this was 2 days ago, and he changed his username to Chief Twit. So it was pretty much news before it was news.
Hold on, Twitter.
You must check it. I'll show you now. Yeah, Chief
look.
Twit. The reason I acquired Twitter is because it's important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner without resorting to violence. There's currently great danger that social media will splinter into a far right-wing and far left-wing echo chamber that generates more hate and divide in our society. So that's his key motivation. And if you go to his page here, you can see his bio is Chief Twit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's so funny, dude. His tweets, that one that says "Freed the bird," 2 million likes, bro. That's crazy engagement. Jesus Christ,
I mean, he had that before. He's the single richest man in the world, number one, and now he owns Twitter, so he's gonna get good engagement on his tweets, right? But even before this, he was very active on Twitter. He's often gotten into trouble for leaking, Tesla share information on Twitter. He's often had to pay it off, right? At Twitter headquarters coffee bar, you can see him there talking to the staff. Very interesting times, bro. We're living in very interesting times.
Yeah, it's a wild time to be alive, bro. Elon Musk finally closing the deal.
Yeah, and then we've got bullish for crypto. We've got Binance CEO saying that they've contributed 500 million towards the acquisition of Twitter. Again, very, very bullish for us. We saw Dogecoin go up 30%. Obviously, speculation that he's going to use that as some sort of currency. Spoiler alert, he is not. Dogecoin can handle like 40 transactions a minute. It's not going to work for Twitter, but he might do some sort of offshoot. But there's definitely going to be. I wouldn't buy now. I think this is the time to sell. But definitely, as the story unfolds, there will be dips and pumps in Dogecoin as Elon Musk comes more and more. We know he's very bullish on crypto, and this is very, very bullish for the crypto space, I reckon.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I saw in someone's fucking group chat, they were like, we should buy Dogecoin right now. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know about this, dude. Dogecoin, I feel like it's been a long time since that project's been like, I don't know. I feel like the meme culture's kind of died a little bit in this kind of market. It's just really, really hard to jump into that mindset when we're here. But this is cool, dude. This is like a little light.
Well, how's this for a meme? Him holding the kitchen sink is hilarious.
Well, I didn't actually notice a sink when I first watched it. I don't know how many people noticed to your level. I just glanced at it and I thought he was just like walking to the headquarters. That's all I saw. That's all I took from the video. So you're the first person to break it down and show me it's a fucking sink, and that he's doing that to show that he's fucking with people, and then he's like replacing everything. But all I saw was the fact that he literally fired everybody. All the important people gone. Day one. So fucking funny.
100%. I just want to say here we've got Crypto Dream saying that he said he's going to take a private after a while. So I could be wrong there. Oh, take a public after a while. Okay, fine. It was a mistake there. Because I did read it from a good news source that is going private. He's going to take a public after that. But yeah, really, really interesting to see. And then straight away we're seeing some things come up. So we've seen there's speculation and that Twitter's looking into a wallet type prototype. And it makes sense because if you think of any of these platforms, even like the Reddit thing and whatever, they all have some sort of currency and some sort of wallet in their system, right? And so it does make sense that that's the next step for Twitter, to work on some sort of wallet prototype within the Twitter app that can handle crypto deposits and withdrawals. So that's really, really interesting, and we're seeing that. Here we can see that also they are saying that they are going to allow NFTs to be displayed directly on tweets, making it easier to buy and sell. So here you can display a link and it will show it like it does normal links, view on OpenSea or whatever, which is really cool. And this is all today. I mean, for me now, it's almost 10 p.m. So it's the end of Friday. But basically, the official news of him taking over Twitter was this morning, my time. So in 12 hours, we are already seeing that they're allowing NFTs to be directly displayed, which is hilarious. This is really bullish for the space. And if we look at Dogecoin, you can see this was the time to sell. Sell the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. But still, I'll take you to a weekly chart here. you'll see we're about 30% up on the week, which is really quite cool. Here's your weekly chart.
What was it trading at?
So it was 59 cents on the 20th of October, and it's now just over 85 cents.
Wait, it's at 85 cents right now?
Yeah.
Wait.
Sorry.
What?
0.85. 8.5 cents. Sorry.
I was like 80 cents. That's an all-time high.
Do you still have some of your Doge?
Fuck no, dude. Fuck no. I got out of that a long time ago.
Yeah, sorry. My mistake. 0.85 cents is where it's at now. Was 0. Let's just say
bro, everybody in this stream was like, holy fuck.
Sorry. So really interesting to see. I mean, I can't wait to see what else starts happening on Twitter, because it is sort of the unofficial town hall of NFTs, crypto, and Web3. And now we got a guy who believes in the stuff running the place. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. This is what I'm here to do, dude. This is why I'm excited, because like, hey, what's up, fam? I'm live on Instagram too right now. The Reddit narrative, and then this new Twitter narrative with this figurehead who's going to lead us to Valhalla. I'm just very interested to see what this means for the narrative, I guess, of like the online community, the online space, digital communities, Twitter, Reddit. Like, it's just, that's where they live. And I'm like, we're just seeing so many big changes right now, and it's very exciting. I just want to see what happens. Yeah.
So the reason I pulled this up so quickly is because it's exactly what you're talking about. This Reddit thing, is so bullish for the space. Here, you got a community or a company, Reddit, which was very anti-NFTs, very. And they have been shilled NFTs without knowing they're NFTs. They're digital avatars, they're not NFTs. And they now love them because they paid maximum $10 for it, and they're now able to sell it for a 10, 15, 20x. Yeah. And the fact that you've seen that huge rise in the Polygon numbers on OpenSea that I showed in the very beginning from June Analytics in the last couple of days shows that these guys are coming over to OpenSea. And I think this is, we all say we want mass adoption. I'm not saying this is the beginning of it. What I'm saying is that we wanted a positive opportunity to onboard millions of new people. And this is that. This is exactly that. This is that positive experience where people who had nothing to do with NFTs have been given the most positive experience and are now interested in NFTs. And I do think that if anything could be a catalyst to slowly start bringing new people into the space, which is what we want and what we need, that this is that catalyst. I really, really do.
So what I actually heard is a bit contrary to that as far as the NFT people on Reddit. I heard a lot of people got burned. A lot of people, more people than not, got burned, and now they're even more pissed after the initial hype. However, we also gained a fucking lot of people who are now NFT maxis because of this. So while a lot of the NFT community on Reddit is even more pissed, they weren't going to be saved anyway. So it doesn't even matter. But because of that and the initial hype we saw and how it ran up so heavy, we'll likely see a pullback. And, I'm not as interested in like which NFT collections are going to soar. Because honestly, I don't really understand the idea of like 75% of the art all being the same. Like all the collections are basically the same art with no traits or anything, or it doesn't look like there's any trait differences. And it's tough to like want to get into that kind of project after initial hype. But as far as like people on Reddit and this many people being introduced to it, I think that's cool as fuck. I think Polygon is great if it didn't take fucking days to get your money from your Ethereum. If you're trying to bridge it over, it literally takes forever. And I hate using Polygon. I try not to use it if possible, but I don't know if they can fix that problem. I have no problem using Polygon. It's just getting my money into Polygon. It takes fucking forever.
For sure. I mean, I think it's important to realize that the vast majority of these 2.9 million Reddit wallets that have been created for these avatars had no experience with NFTs before this and had no idea of how to move it across to OpenSea or anything like that. So the vast majority of those 2.9 million are guys who got the NFT either for free or for $10 and are now learning how to sell it. And if they sell it right now, they are, no matter which one it is, they are at least a 10x. In some cases, I mean, $22,000, $19,000. You can even see here, 24-hour change on all of these is green, and 7-day is green on all of them, right? So even though it's slowed down a bit from a week ago when we spoke about it, for the most part, they're still rising. And you now have people who realize that this thing that I paid $10 for, just thinking it was my avatar on Reddit, not even realizing it was on the blockchain, could be worth $1,500 to $30,000, $40,000.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't believe they're running for that much money, honestly. And like, even if someone's flipped it for like 30, 40 bucks, the people on Reddit don't understand the game yet. So they think that's a massive dub. They're like, holy shit, I made a 4x on $10. So they're all happy, I think. And then they probably felt the pain when they saw the other project that they probably could have minted for the exact same price, went to $22,000.
For sure.
But
for
I don't
sure.
know.
But that's what I'm saying is the majority of them, none of them are down. There aren't any that are worth less than $10. We've got Crypto Dream here saying, I feel like NFTs are going to break my heart like comics. I collect comics. No one cares. Marvel wants to make movies. Yeah, I don't know. It depends what you invested in, but if you're in the right ones, it's going to do well. But we're actually talking about DC later on in the show, so I'm going to keep it for there. And yeah, I mean, every news article that I'm seeing is Reddit, which is really, really cool to see. Obviously, a lot of these spooky season ones that are up, we've got Halloween tonight. A lot of those I do think are going to drop after tonight, just, I don't know that now is the best time for someone to buy these on the secondary. I mean, just to put it bluntly, I personally think now is probably the worst time to buy these on the secondary. But I'm just really so bullish on the fact that a lot of people, millions of people, have had a positive experience and were duped into getting NFTs because they think they're just a digital avatar. And now they understand that it can be used positively. And I think that is worth its weight in gold. And I think slowly we are going to see the effects of that in the coming weeks and months for sure.
Well, the main reason that people are struggling to link you having a Twitter profile picture as your social media avatar that you represent yourself, the reason people struggle with that being important to them is because it's not that important unless you're trying to do something in this space. And I think way later in the future, when it's a bit more than just a profile picture as far as how you identify yourself running around this social media world or online world, I think that'll matter more and more and more. And I have always liked the idea of the collectability side of NFTs. And I think there will always be a place for it. I don't know if it's smart or even feasible or possible to know which ones are going to be that. And I really think if you're going to start to try and gamble and try and pick which one's going to go up in value, you're 99.9% of the time you're going to be wrong. So I just stopped trying to find it. Like, if I find it, great. If I believe in the project and I think that the team is strong, the brand is strong, everything's good there, then I'll buy it. But I'm never going to buy it and just like really, really put my marbles in that thing, because I don't have my marbles in any project. There's not a single one. Even Bored Apes, dude. Like, we've seen the lawsuits. Like, there could be something that goes wrong, and then Bored Apes, I mean, they'll never go to zero, I don't think. But you don't know if Bored Apes will be the number one. You could have invested all your money into Yahoo and fucking or Facebook 10 years ago, and then nothing would have happened 10 years later. So you just can't know, bro. Because you don't know what people are going to want in the future. All these NFT projects have these roadmaps. They're going to take about a year to launch. By the time the year rolls around, nobody wants what's on the roadmap anymore. So it's like I had this conversation with Minnie yesterday or the other day from Zen8, and she was like, yeah, bro, like, we still have things in the roadmap we're delivering on, and we have to do it because we said we would, and nobody fucking, like, no one's going to care about it when we drop it. And I was like, that sucks. Because it's just different.
That's why I preach diversification so much, and I really, really do. And if anyone hasn't watched my in real life investment video, please watch it. But yeah, basically diversify. So I'm not even saying within NFTs diversify, which you probably should. Maybe have one gaming, one metaverse, one art, fine. But I'm saying within your investment thesis, diversify. Have a small percentage of money you don't need in NFTs, another small percentage of that money in property, another small percentage of that money in metals like gold and platinum, another small percentage of that money in the stock exchange, and so on and so forth. Diversify, and within those eco chambers in stocks, have healthcare, tech, oil, gas, whatever. Diversify, because no one knows, as Kate says, and that's the truth. And that's why diversification is really a good strategy for people who are risk adverse.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get guys that are not risk adverse. Some of them end up becoming multimillionaires over a short period of time, and others end up losing multi-millions over a short period of time. So it just depends on how risky you want to be. But personally, I'm risk adverse. And so for me, diversification is the name of the game for sure.
Yeah. Greed.
Agreed. All right. So, Azuki, last week we told you about this, or the week before. Which week was it, Kate? Last week or the week before, about their whatever back token?
I can't remember. Probably
Right.
last week.
I think it was, I don't know. Either way, the top sale was $2.5 million. Remember, this is only 9 skateboards available. They were gold plated, and I think this is absolutely ludicrous, to be very honest. I mean, it makes the world record for the most expensive skateboard ever sold, ever. But again, just interesting to see something different in the space. So the auction was hosted by Chiru Labs, who are the creator of Azuki, and people were allowed to place their bids in Ethereum. I was watching while the bids were going up, and I could not believe it. I could not believe the amount of money that people were paying. So yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy to think that they went for this amount. But good to see people doing something different. I mean, credit where credit's due. Good to see something different and really capturing the imagination of the NFT space.
Yeah, dude, that is fucking insane. I mean, there's 9, and it's a big, strong brand, so I'm not surprised. I guess I'm surprised a little bit at how high that went up. Like, that's fucking nuts that they sold a skateboard for $2.something million. You've really gotta believe in something.
So the 9, just a correction there, the 9 skateboards were together an amount of $2.5 million. The most expensive one was $400,000. Which is still never been anything close to that as far as a sale for a skateboard for that amount, no matter what in the world, right?
Right.
But still, I mean, $400K for a skateboard is a huge amount of money. Yeah.
True. Yeah, that is nuts. That is fucking nuts.
And it's gold plated. I mean, I've got plates that are gold plated, man.
Yeah.
It's not like it's solid freaking gold.
What's a collectible? It's a collectible made by Azuki with only 9 total ever. Well, maybe ever.
I don't know. I wouldn't personally. $400,000 is
that's a lot of money.
Is huge.
Well, yeah. I mean, $400K is probably the equivalent to you dropping 10 or 20,000. Or for me, like
I guess
5,000 or like 1,000 maybe. It's probably just like like that. It kind of hurts, but like
I think I would sort of understand if CryptoPunks did something like, obviously not skateboard, but like a really notable collection. Azuki's relatively new. I mean, compared to a Bored Ape and Cats and whatever. I don't know. Interesting. I mean, look, 309. Dingaling is one of their teams, so that doesn't count. The next one was 303, 240 ETH, 231 ETH, 208 ETH, and they were your bids.
Yeah, I think Azuki has a really good chance of doing something here with their IP. I think like they have a chance because of their brand as an anime. They could become a real anime, and they've got this whole collection. They got so much ridiculous fucking money, like so much access to money and so much access to people because people like their brand that they could potentially be unstoppable. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, here's some of the art. Credit where credit's due. There was all that FUD and, even though they did take a big knock, they were sitting at 30 ETH at a stage. They have continued and they are continuing to try and innovate in the space. So credit where credit's due, for sure. Yeah, I think they're lucky that they've got the Asian market that they do, because I know a lot of guys, not in the Asian market, who are sort of skeptical because of Dingaling's past with rugging other projects, me included. But look, if they keep delivering year after year after year, then at some point you've got to say, look, that maybe this is the real deal now.
Yeah, no, it's tough because like I also don't really much like that about the founder, and I think the team being competent is really fucking important. But if you've got a community that is this fucking diehard for them and just really really fuck with this art, really really like this brand, I mean, it's shit. I mean, it's kind of like the Bored Apes thing. It's like no one really knows why or even if they deserved it. They just did. Like people just bought it and people just kept buying more, and the price just kept
Yeah.
going up. And there's no real rhyme or reason. Just is what it is.
I agree, and they definitely are establishing themselves as having that sort of cult-like following.
Yeah.
That the founders can't do any wrong in their eyes, and they really are. I mean, I've said it before on the show. I know guys that just collect Azukis, literally. And they spend like 10, 15, $20,000 a pop, and they've got 10, 15 of them. So my question is, do you think it's going to be a good ride? It doesn't look like it's going to ride very well. Did you ever skate?
You're not gonna ride with that.
I know. I'm joking. Did you ever skate?
I not with a normal skateboard. I've done all of you. I've done like the ripstick, the waveboard. I tried longboarding and like those things, but never been a normal skateboarder. I don't know. It wasn't as attractive to me for some reason. Never really got into it.
You look like one. I used to do rollerblades. I never did skateboard, but I used to be inline skates, whatever you call them.
I think it's because skating wasn't cool where I was, so I was struggling so hard to be cool that I couldn't take a knock like that.
Yeah. All right, so we got the Sims now. They're coming out with a Metaverse NFT game. SimCity legend Will Wright is making a Metaverse NFT game on the blockchain, which is really quite bullish because, SimCity is a massive, massive game. Been there since 2008. And now he wants to sort of relaunch it in the Metaverse. And they're expecting that it should be ready soon. They said they've actually shelved it a little bit. So they're pretty much ready to go. Yeah. It says it's also helpful to sell NFTs. The game's been designed at Gallium Studios, a studio focused on blockchain gaming, but the Vox characters in the heart of it are on existing lines of NFTs, stuff like the Trolls and the Walking Dead. The Vox characters are sold by crypto firm Gala Games. Gala Games has spent $25 million funding Voxverse. Again, I think you and I could have done it for at least half of 25 million.
No comment.
But very interesting. Did you ever play? Oh, you said you're not a big gamer.
Nah, I played a little bit. So I played a little bit of Sims, like very, very, very early when they first kind of were. I mean, I don't know when they first came out, but it was very early in their like journey, and I was a fucking child. And I remember like this game, Webkins, and maybe like one other. Like I think I tried RuneScape or something like that, but never been a big game. It just wasn't that fun. I was just like running around. I was like, what the fuck? This is stupid. Like,
I used to love Diablo. Was one of my favorites. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto came out when I was like about 20, and that was just a game changer. That was just so awesome. Yeah, I used to play, but there was another game. There was a game called Black and White. Bro, I loved this game. You were basically, and it's not because I'm a megalomaniac, you were God, okay? So you were God, and you had your own city, and you had a pet that would help you do stuff, and people would pray to you, like from the perspective of, please help my daughter with this. And if you were a merciful God, you got the support of the community, and if you were like a strict God, you got their fear. And depending on that, I loved it. Guys, let me know in the comments if anyone's played Black and White. I know it's probably before most viewers' time. Yeah, I think I struggled in a few months.
I struggled a little bit with I think like my whole life with it, with like the immersiveness of certain things. Like I really like movies that can just draw you in, and within 5 minutes you're in. Like you're might as well be in the movie because it's that immersive. And I just like, if it's anything less than that, I just really struggle with getting into it. Like plays, anything that's like live. Sometimes it's just not as curated as like something that's been edited, right? Like if you have a fully edited video versus just like the normal stream, it's just not as good and it's not as immersive. And I think for me, I just struggle with that because a lot of times I would see the immersive one first, or like I would see the Phantom of the Opera movie first, and then go see it live. And I'd be kind of disappointed with the live one because the movie was so well put together. Same with the games. Like I'd be playing the game and I'd want to be Spider-Man or whatever character I'm playing in the video game, and I'm like, bro, I don't feel like Spider-Man though. You know, I'd rather go watch Spider-Man or go do something that's going to make me feel better about myself. But I feel like I'm just like playing a character that's not me, and I'm never going to be this. And I don't feel like this character that I want to be. So it's not even fun. I just feel like I just felt like I don't even know, like I was wasting my time or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. It depends.
I don't know
if you got enough time to get into these things.
I'm just not
they
big at games.
tend to grab you. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so we got Apple Store back in the news now. So we broke that story about a month ago that Apple's now allowing NFTs in their apps, and with the 30%. And this is really interesting, Kate, with the 30% commission, which we knew about. But then they came out with a thing saying that they restricting using NFTs to unlock content featured in their apps. Now there was a whole lot of misunderstanding in the crypto community that means that any NFT that actually can be used to unlock features within an app in the App Store is not allowed. And that's not the case. What they are saying is that unless that NFT that unlocks value in the app is bought through the app, then it can unlock content. So they're basically saying we need our 30%. We're not prepared to let you use a third-party NFT to unlock anything. But if that NFT has been purchased through the app on the App Store, it is okay for it to unlock content.
Yeah. Go Apple. What do you have to say about that? What do you think?
Sorry, I've been sick the whole week, Kate. So if I'm coughing, I apologize. I'm okay on a lot of medicine, but I'm okay. But I'm really just apologizing. There will be a bit of coughing during the show. What I told you what I thought about it when we broke it a month ago. I think it's so bullish for the space to get straight away exposed to potentially, a billion people or hundreds of millions of people through the App Store is only bullish. Yes, there's 30%, but there's 30% on everything that developers do in the App Store, and developers are happy to pay it to get exposed to Apple clients. And we've seen that by Apple having the most amount of apps in their App Store by far from anyone else. So I don't believe that the 30% is a stumbling block. It's not like for all other apps they charge 5%, and for NFTs apps they're charging 30%. Their fee is 30% on all apps. That hasn't been a stumbling block to games that Dirty Bird and stuff like that. They wouldn't have had one player if it wasn't for Apple. They're happy to pay 30% and have 70% of something massive, opposed to paying nothing and have 100% of something tiny. Right. So I think it's bullish. I think it's great for the space. And I think they are 100% right. What would happen if they didn't make this clear is I would do an NFT on my side that wasn't sold on the App Store. You could buy it on OpenSea. I would let you have a free app from the App Store, so there's no commission to Apple, and you just input your NFT that you've bought on OpenSea, and that will unlock the content. So that would be a workaround for people not to pay Apple.
But you don't get that exposure.
Exactly.
Hold on, I'm echoing in the back there. Oh, hold on, it's good now. It's good now. So my point here was that I wanted to make was, with this whole thing happening, we're pretty much at the same, how do I say this? There's almost no difference between the Web3 world and Web2 world. If these are the things that are going to be driving everything, just the same big Web2 companies offering a platform for these new people now to do the same thing they've been doing to everybody else. It's like the whole thing with the music industry. The music industry was, Snoop was so excited because he was like, I'm going to bring NFT royalties to artists. Artists are going to have opportunities without having to sign big deals with massive companies. Are going to take a massive cut of what they're going to make over the next 10 years and all these things. The problem is, like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work without the exposure. You need Sony to sponsor you. You need Barstool Sports to buy Call Her Daddy. So the issue with that is that people in the crypto world are so obsessed with, we need the new money, we need the new this, we need the new that, when in reality, what's really happening in Web3 is we're just surfing the waves of the transition into a even more immersively digital world. That's the only thing that's happening. So now we're struggling with, okay, do we use fiat, or do we use these crypto coins and tokens and NFTs because we bought them already and they're going up in value if these win? And we don't like the fact that the government has access to all this money and the banks have access to money, and Chase Bank can just close your account if you make a tweet they don't like or a video you don't like. And it's that little bit, it's that in between. So whatever that in between is going to be, I don't know if it's, I don't know if it'll be Apple and Facebook running the metaverse in 20 to 30 years. I really hope it's not, because that means we basically just dropped Web 2 into the Web 3 world and then nothing really happened. That's why I'm just trying to take advantage of the opportunities. I'm trying to grow in the space as a Web 3 person and set myself up in a way that's somewhat safe for me and stable for me. But a lot of the systems are in place because they work. And it's like, I had my eyes open when I read this book called .com Secrets, that all the best funnels and sales tactics are the same fucking tactics that have been running on infomercials for the past 50 years. And I'm like, they fucking work. That's why they're still being used. They literally all still work. And there's no difference. There's no reason to make a new wheel when the other one is literally not only good, it's great and it works. And it's like, fuck, it's a well-oiled machine. And we're trying to like stick a wrench in it for some reason, because there's an opportunity for us, like a little thing. So I don't know. It's hard to kind of put that into words, but.
No, I completely get it. I really do. And I think you expressed it very well. And it's exactly right. There is going to be a middle ground where it meets, because you can't have mass adoption and still keep it completely unregulated and decentralized. And this applies for crypto more than NFTs. NFTs is a tiny substract. On the crypto side of things, there's got to be a middle ground. And we even seen that with Ethereum at the moment, because, a lot of the mining now with proof of stake is happening through centralized places. So it's not decentralized anymore fully like it used to be, right? And all you need is, like today, all right? I'm sitting there at work and I get and I'm busy, and I get a SMS or a message, whatever you call it, on your phone, saying like 200 Rand, which is like $15 or $10, spent at wish.com. Right now, I've heard of wish.com, but so maybe Bianca's buying a little something fine. Then a few minutes later, I get another SMS, 600 Rand, wish.com. So I'm thinking, okay, so I just message Bianca and I say, just confirming, did you do 2 transactions on wish.com? And she writes back, no. So I look at it more carefully. It's actually $200. I wasn't even looking properly. I just saw 200. So it's 200 USD. And the second one, 620 USD. So straight away I realized somehow, Bianca's card has been compromised. And I phoned the bank. They say to me, no problem, Mr. Klinko. We've blocked it. We're sending you a new card and we'll refund your money within 48 hours.
Nice.
Now that is the benefit to having a regulated, centralized banking system. Whereas when your NFT gets stolen, and not if, when, who do you phone? Where do you go? You can't even go into the Discord of the community. No one's there to help you. OpenSea doesn't care. No one cares. So you've, and that's a big thing that turns people off. It just takes one bad experience in the space for a newbie to come in the space, be completely scammed out of $2,000 that he's been saving for so long to buy this NFT. He'll never come back. Whereas if there was some sort of regulation or body looking over it, even if it was a DAO or a sort of decentralized, you would be able to somehow safeguard those people to some degree and therefore allow for mass adoption. So these things are stopping mass adoption. So in the end of the day, there has to be a middle ground, exactly like you were saying. where the two come together, where it's still to some degree decentralized, but to some way centralized as well and regulated, while still being unregulated to some degree.
That's
that's
why,
really how we.
For me, I see like for example, American Express Bank, whatever. I just got the gold card, no problem. Just got the gold medal card, no big deal. Anyway, so I'd rather roll with American Express and have them see the benefits, see the community, see the ethos, whatever, of Web3, of the communal aspect of everything, and say, okay, this is what people want. This is what our clients want. We need to start incorporating some of the things that they feel is important from Web3 into our company, rather than fucking moonbird butt skank skeleton zombies NFT bank comes up and says we're gonna do it, and I'm like, I don't think so. I think this company's probably gonna do it, and they're just gonna start incorporating some of the things we want them to do and become more humanized. And that's why we're seeing massive companies right now all have kids running their TikTok accounts, and like they have a whole team of advisors for social media, because they've started to slowly say, oh, social media is how we grow. We're a media company, actually, and all the companies start to do that. Banks start to do that. The most boring companies in the world have social media now. The next step is clearly the Web3 stuff is going to start incorporating into their social medias, and people say, "Oh, Chase Bank is doing a live stream tomorrow morning with X content creator that they partnered up with, and they're doing a giveaway, and they're doing this and that. You have to be a member of this bank, and you have to have this, and maybe their NFT, and they can start doing those things, hold events. That's where I see the metaverse really all coming together in a cohesive little something,
Exactly, and that's what we're seeing to some degree in the Reddit story. And that's what we're seeing to some degree, to a big degree, in the Starbucks, right? And we're seeing normal Web2 companies seeing the in real life value of blockchain technology without the rubbish of just a picture being worth something. They like the technology and they're integrating it, and they're offering real value and benefit to their customers, as well as getting savings on their side from a data collection perspective and a tracking perspective. It's a win-win. And that's really where the future of the space is going, I reckon.
Yeah, that's a fact, dude. That's a fact. I'm actually really stoked that I said it like that on the stream, so I can probably clip it for later. I don't know. It makes so much sense, dude. Like, it makes so much sense. 10 years ago, no company was on social media, and now they all are on social media. And now it's the exact same thing with the Web3 space. A few companies have adopted it, and they will all follow, and they will all start to adopt the Web3 policies, and all start to adopt the Web3 things that all their clients and all the people in their communities and following their social medias are wanting. They're going to want those things, and they're going to start to give it to them, and then everyone else is going to jump back in like they already did.
But it's like you said with that book. It's the same pattern, the same thing with the internet. I remember when I started Perkel 20 years ago, we were one of the first companies to have a website. No one else. So we would phone a big brand like Carol Boyers in South Africa. It's a massive beautiful pewter stuff. And we said to them, look, we've got a website, we'd like to sell your stuff. They said, absolutely not. Unless you have a brick and mortar store, we're not selling to you. We will not supply you.
Wow.
Because why? Their brick and mortar stores were paying them licensing fees and have the expenses of rent and lights and water. And how can this kid come with a website without any rent and insurance and whatever that you would need if you had a brick and mortar store and be able to undercut our bread and butter? Whereas 10 years ago, they phoned us and they said, Philip, we're ready to move forward now. It was like, well, welcome to the party, right?
Prices have been jacked up.
That's one of many, many stories of the same thing. We had a supplier that we said, look, we want to take, and they wanted us to have their products. We wanted their products. They didn't have any pictures because they had no website. There was no pictures. And when we asked them for pictures, they took pictures on a shelf, and we said, we can't use it. We need proper pictures. They said, well, we don't work like that. We supply all the stores. The physical stores don't need pictures. I said, guys, if you don't get a website, if you don't get pictures, you're not going to be around in 20 years. And true as God, this company is not around today.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It was the internet. It was the telephone. People say, why do you need a mobile phone? What is the point? It took 15 years from when it was introduced before anyone started using it. They said the same thing about horses and carts, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know, they said that cars were offensive to horses. and people were not happy. They don't want a car, and that's why Ford called it horsepower. And they try to say, look, we're not replacing
That's funny.
your horse, because they marketed it wrong. They said this is better than your horse. And
Right.
people who love their horses were like, screw you. Frank is an amazing horse. Don't say that this piece of metal is better than my animal. And when they changed it and said, look, it can work together and this and that, it all of a sudden started to get a bit of appeal. So
Right.
it's the same thing.
You basically just have to like remain youthful and optimistic and open-minded to stuff. Otherwise, all of these things are just going to continually pass you, and you're going to make the exact same mistake you made 5 years ago, the same mistake 5 years after, 5 years after. You're always late to the show. You never get anything. You never get any of the benefits all these people always tell you about, because you're always fucking last. And like, that's just the name of the game. You have to move quick. Like, that's why with this Reddit thing, it's a way bigger deal in my opinion than pretty much anyone's saying. I mean, a few people, okay, that's not true. Every influencer is saying this is a big deal. None of them are doing anything about it. None of them have stepped into Reddit. None of them have started to dabble in Reddit. No one has made their own subreddit. There's like 4 people who have done it, and they're all the people that are making content about it right now. We've seen Champ do the stream. I've already reached out to the guys. I know Avatar Reddit follows me. So I've reached out to them. Hopefully we can get a YouTube show going. But I have my own subreddit. We have NFT Llama already building stuff over there. And there's a few people doing things. And it's like the early adopters and the movers that people will go to, and then they'll be able to create the opportunities and then make opportunities for other people. But you have to be a first mover. You can't get onto Reddit at NFTs 6 months after, and then after all the opportunities left, and now you're just the fucking exit liquidity, and you're the guy getting sold all the products and the services to. Like, you don't want to be in that position. And if you're that person last time and this time, you're probably going to be it next time. So it's just, when you hear those inklings, really search and say, okay, is there some real substance here? Should I sink my teeth into this?
Yeah, and the thing is that we're actually preaching to the choir, because the people on the stream are the first 1 million that believe in the space like we do,
Right.
and know more than 99% of the world, 99.9% of the world about NFTs. Just having a MetaMask.
If they do something with this, that's why I've started to incorporate a ton of business content, because I've had that business for the last 14 months, strictly only working with Web3 people. And I'm like, there are opportunities here, but just watching YouTube videos, just consuming content is not going to be enough. Like, at some point, you've got to hit that wall of like, okay, I got to do something here. I don't know what it is, but I got to start. And whatever that is, I'm hoping that with all the content I put out there, going on your show, having Tom on my show, like doing tons of collaborative content, I'm hoping that someday, like one little like clip of a video will hit you right at that moment when you're thinking about that thing. And then that makes so much sense. Just like that book, the .com book. It wouldn't have made sense, and it wouldn't have helped me that much 2 years ago to read it. But I read it at the exact right moment when all the stars were aligned for me to read that book, and everything needed to happen at that exact time. And now I read it, and I was literally able to implement. I read 100 pages, couldn't stop reading, but forced myself to put the book down.
Do you have a copy of it to show everyone?
Hold on.
It's a good thing, because it is a great book, and it's just basically about the way things work and how everything has to be funneled towards an end result. .com secrets. There we go.
Yeah, it's just it literally just broke my entire reality. I couldn't believe that I've been framing my offers the way I have been, and I changed it. The next morning, I had 2 offers. Within 48 hours, I had 4 closed deals, bro. Amazing. Strictly from the funnels.
Listen, have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Mm-hmm. That was the start. That was one of my first inklings into the finance world. Started to get me to think like that. And all of them have stacked, like for people who are, Crypto Dream. I mean, you're stacking your skills, you're stacking the knowledge. And at some point, all that knowledge is going to meet that idea that you have that gets spurned from whatever the fuck, or a book or an idea or a video. And you're going to say, and that's when you literally have to act. Like, if you have that spurt of like, oh, you should go and put all your shit down and go do the thing right there. Because what I did is I read the first 100 pages, put the book down, went to my website, and for 5 hours straight, fixed everything on my website. And went to sleep. The next morning, I had an offer, and I closed that deal the next day from that website funnel thing, because I had at the very bottom of my offer was, hey, go ahead and just copy paste this into the email me this exact thing, and we'll get you started. And then next day, I woke up with that exact copy and pasted email saying, hey, we're ready to move forward with this. What's your ETH address? Let's get started. And I was like, whoa, gotta have to sell them.
The other thing that I think is important here is to realize, and this is really important, that Cade put his website up about a month ago. and so it was recent, and he ended up altering it, and I have no doubt he'll alter it again. The point is that at some point you've got to pull the trigger on stuff. You've got to do it, even if it's not the final website. It doesn't matter. Get it started, get the ideas there. Then you read a book or listen to a podcast that inspires you, tweak it, change it. I find a lot of people are so busy researching and trying to become an expert at something before they make the first move, that they never do it. And often 10 minutes of real life doing something is worth a year of reading about it. And that's a big thing. Maybe it's a personality thing. I don't know. But a lot of people just are scared to take that first step before they know more, not realizing that plunging into the deep end is how you learn more. And yes, you'll make mistakes. And yes, but that's how you learn. And if I would never have started Perkel if I had overthought it. I don't think I would ever have gotten married. I'm very happy I did. If I'd overthought it, I don't think I would ever have had kids. Do you want little monsters eating all your food all day, needing you for 20 years and never being able to do your things? No, but it's the best thing. It's the best thing I ever did. A funny thing I always say to my kids when they ask like something weird, not weird, like something like, can I have a piece of banana or whatever? You know what I always say is make yourself at home, because I remember a time when they weren't here. And they say, Dad, I am at home. And I'm like, it's my home, No, but I mean, obviously it's their home as well. There was another funny story that a guy bought, it was his son's 21st birthday. So he bought, the son wakes up and he's so excited. He's still living at Dad's home. And there's all these boxes stacked up and he's so excited. And he opens the boxes and there's absolutely nothing in them. And he says, Dad, what's going on? And Dad's like, well, happy birthday, son. You're 21. Time to pack your shit and get out.
Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. And also to your point about the website. Yeah, I made that website. It's one of those, analysis paralysis, but also it's not even that. It's how much desperateness you have, how much insecurity you have in your own body and brain to the point where it overtakes that paralysis, where you're like, okay, I'm so miserable and so broke and so desperate for this to work. I'll fucking do this, I guess. And then you'll make that first step. My website looked like absolute shit in the beginning. When people would approach me to say, hey, we potentially want to do a video or something, I'd have to spend that time convincing them that it was worth it, because they're like, well, I should just do a paid promo with some other person. I'm like, no, like for this reason and that reason. And I'm trying to sell them. By that point, I've lost 75% of my people because of the approach that I had, versus this. By the time they get to my offer, they're like, where the fuck, like, how much does it cost? Like, I'm ready to go. By the time they email me, they're already 90% in. I just have to send them the address and say, okay, here's the prices. Which one do you want to go with? Are you ready to go? And they say yes or no, and then move. It's just a lot more easier. And like, but that happened months after I made that website, right? So I agree.
Yeah. But I also think it could also be a positive thing that someone feels if you're going to pay me, someone who's in analysis paralysis or whatever, feels, look, if someone's going to pay me for a service, I need to be better qualified than I am. And so let me research more and, before I start anything. And I think that that's a very noble character trait to have. So it's not necessarily a negative thing. I'm just saying at some point, it's time to actually take that step and say, you know what? Yes, there's more to learn. But am I going to read every single book on the subject before I even start? Or do I know enough now to confidently take that first step and see where it goes?
And that's exactly it. That is exactly it. In the beginning, it's endearing and it's smart and it's necessary. And at a certain point, you're going to cross the line and now you're just being a pussy. Now you're being a pussy. And that's what I identified in myself this past year. There was a point where I had a couple offers to do things, try some new business ventures last year. And I said no, because it wasn't because the real reason was I was fucking scared. I just didn't want to take the chance that maybe it doesn't go all the way right and now I'm going to be crucified. And it wasn't worth that risk for me. So I just said no to a whole new business venture that would have been an amazing experience for me. Because I was like, if it's not going to work 100%, doesn't go to the moon, doesn't become Bored Apes Yacht Club, then it's a waste and it's going to crush my reputation and I'm done for. It's not worth it. And I got too scared. Versus now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm somewhat well established. I kind of know I know sort of what I'm doing, like, blah, blah, blah. I feel a little bit more equipped. And this is the time, because I've been getting more and more offers for more professional opportunities and cool stuff. I'm like, you know what? Am I really just going to say no to all these because I'm just so fucking scared? I'm just being scared when that's the real reason. And no, like, I should just try this. And so I started saying yes more and trying things and at least taking the meetings. And most of them still suck. And most of the pitches are unbelievably so fucking bad. I don't even understand how they're doing this. But yeah, I'm actually thinking about learning more about the sales funnels and pitching, because I couldn't believe. I've been pitched so many times. I'm being pitched like every day at this point now, and the pitches are so bad, bro. They're so bad. They're convincing me the whole time, trying to convince me, rather than just like offering the problem that I have, and then just giving me the solution.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Look, I also think that you've got to be long-term focused also. And I don't know if I necessarily agree that you should have jumped in with a 10,000 PFP collection in the bear market.
No, it wasn't that. It was
in the bull market.
But yeah.
Okay, fine. Because I think that was a clever move not to do that, because your reputation is all you really have. So, yeah, not so black and white, but definitely in theory, at some point, if you've got this constant inkling at you that, this is where I need to be, but I'm so worried it's not going to work.
Yeah.
At some point, I think you've got to try take the plunge. And worst case, it doesn't work. You've learned more than you could read in books for the next 50 years. Yeah. And at least you go to bed knowing it never worked despite me trying everything. That wasn't meant to be. What's the next thing?
Plus, everyone forgets, bro. I thought everyone would remember. I was like, people are going to remember the fact that I was right about this. They're going to remember that I did this and then this happened and blah, blah, blah. People don't give a shit, dude. They forget within 2 days. So it's like, even if you do fuck up, as long as it's not malicious intent, like you meant to fuck up and take everyone's money, it's just a mistake. And like, people will forgive you. You just have to earn it back. I don't know. In my opinion, if you make a mistake and you make up for it and you earn it back, I think there's no problem with that. Plus, most people do forget. Like, what are you talking about? People literally don't care. They don't give a shit that Azuki rugged. Or the founders.
I don't forget. I mean,
you don't forget, but like, people are still buying it. They don't care. It doesn't come up in every space anymore.
That's a lucky one. That's a lucky one. There's a lot of ones where it came out that the founder had previous rugs that ended up going to zero.
But that's what I'm saying. It was malicious intent. If it wasn't malicious intent and they just tried something and didn't work, people are like, they don't care anymore. Like, there's so many projects like that right now.
Might have been malicious intent.
Right. No, but I'm using it as an example. Like, even
I'm saying that
even him, people, if he goes on a Twitter space, if there's 10 people that come up, I doubt any of them are going to be related to that. Maybe one.
Yeah, because only 30 people on that space are the ones that have forgiven or don't know or don't care. But that space might have had 5 times or 100 times the amount of people. You saw the floor price before he said who he was. Mm-hmm. It was 30 ETH. It went to 10 ETH immediately. It's never gotten. It's now 11.
Now, what is it at now?
11.
Oh, it's at 11 right now?
Yeah, it's never, gone. So he lost 66% of his market.
As he should. Yeah, as he should.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my main point was, like, if people hadn't
spent, I agree with that. If people hadn't spent 30 ETH on the NFT, I think a lot more would have left. But once you've got 30 ETH invested in it and overnight it's gone to 10 ETH, you're like, okay, I'm here for the long run because I wanted to get back to at least 35 Ethereum.
That's why their brand is so strong. Everyone's just trying to get the fuck out. Could you imagine it hits to like 30 ETH again and it just goes completely to zero and everyone's like,
it'll go completely to zero.
Oh my God.
Okay, this one is especially for Crypto Dream over here. So we got our common fan, DC Crypto Dream. So DC NFTs is coming into the NFT world. They're going to be releasing other comics as well as Superman as NFTs, which I think is really, really cool. So the Superman #1 digital comic will appear in 2 formats. There's going to be a modern and a legacy, and each category will have corresponding levels of rarity from common to legendary. The modern version of a digital comic. The level of rarities will denote which cover the NFT comic has. In the legacy version of the digital comic, the level of rarity will correspond to the wear and tear comic, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is really, really cool because I've said for a long time that I do think a lot of people in the NFT space, I'm not saying everyone, but me definitely, and a lot of people that I know are collectors at heart. That is what appealed to us, is the collectible nature of these NFTs. And when you mix those two together, like a DC Universe brand, and people who are diehard comic collectors, with the value of digital collectibles and the doors that NFTs open to creativity. Here they can have 10,000 different covers for the same comic, which they could never do in real life. I
Yeah.
do think if it's done correctly, it's really quite cool and could speak to a lot of people in the space who have that collector gene.
Yeah. If there's something to offer that actually has some tangible value that people actually want, then yeah, I have no problem with it. I do see, now that I look at it, you see where it says, go back to the top real quick.
All the way.
Yeah, real quick. So it says DC Universe to release Superman and other comics as NFTs. Now that I saw like the Reddit thing, now that I saw Starbucks roll out their thing, NFTs look sillier and sillier when we're trying to go more like mainstream and more legit. It looks so silly now because I'm like, fuck, dude, no one is going to be able.
Collectibles, right?
Not going to be able to separate NFTs from monkey pictures. They're just not going to.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be hard, dude. Like when Brett said that on my podcast and was like, they're never the brand's dead of NFTs. I was like, damn, you actually might be right about that. I never really thought about it that way, but who knows, man? I don't know.
For sure. So I agree with what Brett said and what you've said. I do think that we've tainted the word NFT as a community. It's been tainted, and I do think that it does need to be rebranded. And we saw that with Reddit very clearly. They didn't mention NFT once. It was all digital advertised, and I think that that's really we're going to see more and more people. Even the hardware wallet is on Reddit is called a vault. Right, their MetaMask is a vault, not a wallet. So they're moving away from those, and that's great. But the underlying technology is blockchain technology, and that's really long term. Whatever it's called, and you'll see the same thing. Digital collectibles will get a bad rap from something, and then it's going to change to something else. It doesn't matter what it's called. The technology itself is really where it's at. But what's interesting is DC Comics, the company behind it's obviously Warner Brothers. So they've had a few successful forays into Web3. The first was the partnership with Funko, which did really, really well. Second, there was DC Comics Batman Cow's NFT, which I think was released on Veve, if I'm not mistaken, or VV. I don't know how we pronounce it in the States. How do you pronounce it, Kate?
I've always said VV, but I don't even know if that's right. I don't care. I don't really trade there. I don't have too much interest in it.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, I think this is bullish in general. Nice for collectors in the space, and just a really nice feel-good story.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of mass adoption, we have a new Prime Minister of the UK, the third Prime Minister in 3 months. So we had Boris, we had the new lady who lasted 6 weeks. So it's actually the third prime minister in 2 months. She was never fit for purpose, to be quite honest. She really wasn't. And then she had her own cabinet disagreeing with her. She came out and made a few really bad decisions on the while America is busy trying to reduce interest rates and not printing money. She said they're going to print money, then went backwards and forwards on that, then tried to sack her finance minister, then a whole lot of stuff. But she was never fit for purpose. I mean, I think I'm on record on the show saying that it wasn't going to last very long. So now we have this guy, Rishi Sunak. He was the previous finance minister of the UK. So he's definitely got that experience, but he is very crypto friendly. Very, 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 very. So he's now the prime minister. He's on the record of having a whole crypto bull So during his time under Boris Johnson as finance minister, he wanted to turn the UK into the crypto hub of the world. He helped usher in the Financial Services and Markets Bill, which, if passed into law, could give local regulators broad power over the crypto industry, starting with bridging asset-pegged cryptos like stablecoins into the scope of payment regulations. So under his leadership, the country's Royal Mint was tasked with creating an NFT collection, which has yet to come to fruition. But now he's prime minister. He's no longer financial. So he can make these changes. And he's also got a whole crypto plan that he had put into place that was never ever adopted by the UK. But now that he is the prime minister of the country, and obviously assuming that he stays in his position, we could very well see a very pro UK crypto UK.
Very cool. This is very cool. Damn. All right, UK. This is cool. Yeah, he's been wanting to do it. Now he's got the opportunity. He's got the stature. You pretty much do whatever he wants at this point, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how UK politics works, but that's very interesting.
You can't do what you want. But if you're persuasive enough, I mean, obviously his party's got a majority. So if he can persuade his party, and he's persuasive enough to do so, he's definitely got a lot more power than he would have had as finance minister. Now that he's prime minister. Now, I'm quite bullish on the fact in general that in this tough global economic climate, I think in general it's good to have a finance minister as the prime minister, because they really do get the finance side of things and everything. So I think this is really quite good in general for the UK. So forget crypto altogether, and then on top of that, I think medium term to long term, if they don't find a scandal to put him in, or if he doesn't put himself into a scandal, that it could be very bullish for crypto if he's in office long enough.
Yeah, very cool. It's also great that all these things are happening. It's like literally all the best news always comes in the bear market, and I'm like, as the news continues to ramp up and more companies come in, I'm like, I just can't get past the same questions. Like, why would they bother? To the people who keep saying, scam this, scam that, I'm like, why would they bother, bro? Why would they bother? Why would all these companies still be coming in this type of market if it's really just a scam? It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. Unless it's going to be good.
So definitely there have been NFT collections that have been complete rugs and scams, but the technology, the blockchain technology, the underlying technology is not going anywhere. It's here to stay, and this is the beginning of something that is going to revolutionize the world the way the internet did 15 years ago. Really, I believe it with every single ounce of my being.
Hell yeah, baby.
All right, and now let me just do this. We actually did touch on this quite a lot in the beginning, but our friends at Facebook, still hard to call them Meta, $9.4 billion loss in the last 9 months. So, Kate, in your worst 9 months of your life, financially, how much money have you lost? Like your worst. You started with $100. 9 months. What's the
over
worst
the course of 9
months?
That would probably be the NFT like bull run. So probably from like May of last year or something like that. Whenever I started buying NFTs, all the way into like the crash. There's just a bunch of, and mainly my losses came because I would buy NFTs I really liked and just never sold them. Like I bought them at a decent price.
So
ramped
more,
up.
More or less, how much did you lose in 9 months?
I really have like, hold on, I think about that.
Okay, let me help you. Was it close to $9.4 billion?
Yeah, around there. Probably a little bit
more. All right, well, my point exactly is that Meta's doing amazingly. Even a NFT DJ like myself and Kate have lost more than this in 9 months.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know. For me, like, it's okay. Like I lost, it's tens of thousands. But I don't really look at it like a loss because most of those weren't losses. Like I still have the assets. They're just sitting in my wallet. I just never got rid of them. And a lot of them still have a lot of value. And there's still NFTs in my wallet, thousands of dollars of NFTs I could offload if I wanted to. They're just sitting there. And like a lot of it helped me in that time. Like there are NFTs I bought for hundreds or potentially thousands of dollars that were there as a support token for an artist that I fucked with during those 3 months that we worked together. And we did a lot of like content together, whatever. And I had a great time, and that helps my brand. And I got new supporters from that. In my head, that's not a loss because I'm a content creator. It depends, like if you're looking at it from an investor standpoint. I don't look myself like an investor.
It's school fees. But in the end of the day, you had X amount and you now got less than that.
Sure.
So as far as strict financial side, it's a loss.
Yeah.
So we've got Meta, we've got Mark Zuckerberg, who has lost 9.4 billion. I think it is important to say that this from the Facebook side of things is not a surprise internally to them, meaning that they have said that they committed to the metaverse, and that they know that they're going to be losing money for the next couple of years, a lot of money, in order to build what needs to be built to be a leader in the space. I mean, obviously, the fact that they changed their name to Meta a year ago, changed their name for the most notable name in social media, of the last decade, arguably, to Meta, just shows how committed they are to this. So for them internally, I don't think that this is a big surprise. And I don't think we should be surprised next year, same time, when they release their results, to see another $10 billion loss. That's what they're busy doing. But on paper, this was money that they had, that they've earned through ad revenue in their business, that for now is not there, has been lost. So it's a substantial amount of money.
I'm sure anyone who's doing anything innovative like NASA loses billions of dollars a year too. Like anyone who's trying to do something and forge something, like there's some quote, maybe you even said it. It was like, you look at the pioneers, just look for the guy with like arrows in the back of their back, on the ground, face down the fucking ground, the griller guy. Like those are the people who are pioneers. So Facebook's trying to be that. So we're not surprised. But also, these kind of stats weren't coming out until they announced that they're Meta now. They've been building this thing for 10 years. So it's like people think that they just started and like, oh, you guys just started with the metaverse and now you're down $10 billion. Like, well, hold on. That's just the news that is like manipulating you basically, because you read one headline and the last headline you read was 9 months ago. So it's just like, it's fucking stupid, bro. Like, it's funny. I don't know.
Yeah. So they're saying that it doesn't anticipate that Reality Labs, the company behind their metaverse thing, will grow significantly next year. So here they're telling you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they so far have lost. This is incredible. Outside of Meta Lab, Facebook and Instagram topped $1 trillion last year. Yeah, their market cap has gone from $1 trillion last year to $350 million currently.
Wow.
So that's substantial. Really, really substantial.
Yeah. Jeez, dude. Well,
I wonder if he's going to succeed in his mission. He's clearly he's laser focused on this. And I don't know. I just wonder if he's going to have a metaverse out there that's good in the end of it. After tens of billions and centuries of work, is this going to pay off?
Yeah, I almost thought it like, because you were right when you said that, like, what if they actually built? They built a social platform. So I think that's the way he's looking at the metaverse. Like, this is a way for people to engage and interact with each other. And they're building the virtual world. That is definitely a different thing that they're building. They've never really had proven market fit, or sorry, not proven market fit, proven market experience / success in this department specifically. So we don't really have too much to look at there because we don't know if he's got this. I assume he does because he's got the access to the biggest people and the best people. But as far as building out the metaverse, we don't even know what it's going to look like. We don't know what people are going to want. We don't know if people are going to want to interact in the metaverse the way that Mark Zuckerberg is envisioning right now. He assumes he will, but if he's wrong, then I don't know. Like, I feel like for them, it would make more sense to focus on like how they can position themselves in the metaverse. I guess I was a bit surprised he was going to try and make it.
See, it doesn't surprise me so much. The theory side I get, because here they were, there was MySpace before them, but they were the first big mass adopted social media, right? Sort of like the Google. Yes, there was Yahoo, but Google emerged as the search engine. So too, yes, it hasn't stayed that way with Facebook, but at the time, Facebook clearly came out a winner in MySpace, and for the first decade afterwards, they were the only social media. So that's what they were. So he's now saying, okay, COVID happened. It showed us that that people might be stuck at home, not just from COVID now, but in general, and people might want to still socialize. This is the future of our genre. This is the future of social media. This is the new way that people are. So it's completely within their field, completely within their. But it's such a big undertaking to develop a metaverse which will be mass adopted the way that their social media platform was mass adopted, especially when their average age group that's currently in Facebook is over 50s. Right. So they're saying, okay, we need to stay relevant. This is the way we're going to stay relevant to and attract younger people in, but they're going to lose their whole existing market, because I can promise you, my mom is not putting on a VR headset and walking. She gets dizzy walking around her house.
Yeah.
She's not gonna go. So it comes with massive risks. Are they going to isolate the small market share that they've got left and not attract the boomers that they want and have wasted billions of dollars and decades? Or is it going to be the future social media platform like Facebook was 15 years ago?
Right. That's a fucking tough one, dude. That's a fucking tough one. It's going to take a lot of branding from Mark Zuckerberg's point to win people over, because a lot of people hate that dude. A lot of people don't like, or a lot of people do like him, but the vast, I would say, narrative around him is he's an evil snake man.
Yeah, so I mean that's par for the course. It came when people switch over or whatever to other social medias. I mean, yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Right. And then the last story, which is super, super bullish. Hong Kong is going to legalize retail Bitcoin trading. So Hong Kong is massive. This is really big. This is really, really big. Basically, what they are doing, and they are rolling this out, is they're going to be rolling out blockchain technology for their services that as a city they offer. So your driver's license, maybe your medical insurance is all going to be on the blockchain. They anticipate to save billions in the cost of staffing and all the amount of time it takes when you go to your driver's license renewal. The staff member has to wait while you fill out the paperwork and so on and so forth. And they are going ahead with this. And this is probably the most bullish story out of all of them, because here you have a world-class city. It's not like when whatever country said that our currency that's worth nothing and we now change it to Bitcoin. It's different. This is Hong Kong, and they're going to be really rolling out cryptocurrency in establishing a licensing regime in order to allow the trading of it and to integrate it in the space, which is absolutely massive.
Yeah, I just remember every time I hear a China story, it's typically bullish or it's typically bearish during a bullish time. And I remember like Elio Trades videos would always echo in me, and he's like, guys, this is what happens every fucking time we have some bullish sentiment. Fucking China comes in, they try to do that. Like, I just remember like those videos during that run because I was watching so much of the crypto content out there. It's funny.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, look, China is one day for, one day against. But yeah, super bullish in general. Just another example of where, people are starting to see the potential use cases of blockchain technology. And whether it be governments or whether it be private individuals or companies or whatever it may be, Reddit, whatever you want to call that, a social media or an educational platform, these real companies are seeing the value, and I'm excited, man. I think that's great.
I'm very excited, bro. I'm very happy that I'm a content creator in this world. It's just, I couldn't think of a more exciting, I guess exciting is the best word, position to be in during this space. It just seems like it's the most fun. Like there's people who are building and they tell me their schedule and I'm like, bro, that sounds fucking awful, honestly. Like some of the busy work that goes in, like the tedious work, similar to like editing for us, I guess it would be. For me, it's like, it's okay because I'm like editing this product that's going to go out there, that's going to help my business and it's going to help everything. So everything's like a self-fulfilling funnel in itself. But if you're like, I don't know, there's some jobs that just sound miserable, or there's like people who I've talked to, like founders of projects where they're like, dude, I fucking hate my life. Like I did not know what I was signing up for.
All jobs are miserable. I think it's a credit to you the way you perceive it. It's all about how we perceive the laborious parts of what we do. So
Right.
even though your thing is a really exciting industry, NFTs, crypto, Web3, like you just said, there is still laborious tasks that you then, when it's something you have to do, you find boring, whatever, you then say to yourself, but hold on, this task is actually allowing me to do something I love, put content out there that's going to further my brand. That's all your perception of it. And that can be, and that's a huge credit to you, and continue doing that. And I do the same, but that can be applied to any job. You could be a bricklayer, and instead of looking at another heavy brick, I'm building something which is going to be a home for people. They're going to raise their children. So that's a brilliant life lesson, Kate. In general, no matter where you are, try and perceive it differently if you can. I know it's easier said than done, bro. There's days where
I love making content. That's like the big one for me. I like doing content. I like all the things around it, especially the filming part. That like I used to have like a landscaping company when I was like in high school. It's just me. It wasn't like a company. It was like just me doing landscaping. But I remember when I would do it and I was like weed eating, and I was like, fuck, dude, like I do not want to weed eat or edge this fucking yard. Like this is not what I want to do. I don't want to mow this yard. And then like I would finally get started. And after like 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, it's not so bad actually. And like I'm looking at like the work I put in. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I'm like, all right, I kind of want to see what this looks like at the end. And then it wasn't so bad. But it was always like leading up to doing it. But you're right. That perception is huge,
But I also think that people have to realize out there that it's a rare thing to be able to do what you love, and it's not something that everyone has in their grasp.
Right.
And for me, honestly, like if you take someone who, let's just say, a month ago was not able to support his wife and child, and then you give him a job where he's picking up rubbish, and now he can put food on his table, he is going to enjoy that job of picking up rubbish. And I think that people are so busy looking for their passion, and I think it's important if you can find it, but most people don't. And I think that you can walk around with huge pride, no matter what your job is, a toilet cleaner, a sweeper. If you're making food to put on your table through legal means and you're supporting your wife and child, you should be proud of what you're doing. And I think there's all this airy-fairy, love what you do and do what you love and you never work a day in your life. It's absolute bullshit. It's difficult to achieve anything amazing. And just be glad that you've got something and try and look at the best in that if you don't have any other choices out there.
Yeah, two things there. One, a lot more people could have what they want if they would just spend 10 minutes being intentional. Like I've found that intentional effort somewhere just leads to so many fucking good things. Like if you have an intention to do something tomorrow, you write it down on your notepad and you do this and you do that and you're looking forward to it, you prepare for it, it's going to come to fruition. It's just going to work. When you're intentional about it. Like there's something really, really fucking powerful about like your energy or the universe or whatever that comes into play when you really put your attention into something and you focus on it. Like with my website, I focused for 5 hours straight, got it done in the middle of the night because no one was talking to me. I just wanted this thing to happen. And the next night it happened like that. And then the second thing is you're exactly right. When you're struggling and then you get an opportunity to do anything for a little bit, I think it's okay. Like this is something I also learned was it's okay to like work. Everyone does work. And I remember Alex Hormozy said, he was like, what am I going to do when I'm retired? He's like, I'm just going to like work and I'm just going to make more money too. And he's like, maybe it's not so bad that like we all work and everyone in the history of humankind ever since the beginning has worked. And that's just part of it. And maybe it doesn't have to be so bad and sucky. And you're right. Like when you come from a shit place, like when the online business was becoming less of a main hustle, becoming more of a side hustle, I had a decision to make. I was like, well, I also want to be social. There's this bar backing job I want to do. It's not particularly like that glorious, but like it's fine. And now I go in and I fucking love it. Like I love the job. I love the people there. It's fun. I get to get out of my NFT head. I get out of the apartment. I get 10,000 steps. I get free fucking food. Like yesterday, I got like a shit ton of free food that I took back. And it's a great thing. And I'm so grateful to go in every time because I get a chance to come in, get consistent income, and have fun.
You're grateful. Yeah, the way you're perceiving it. There's no ego. You're working as a bar back at the moment to build up to a bar so that you can be out there. But in the end of the day, there's many people, Kate, that would not have taken that because the ego would have gotten in the way. And you've taken that, and not only that, you're looking at all the positive and you're enjoying it. I know that there's a lot of people that visualize greatness and put intentional efforts out there, and unfortunately it doesn't come to fruition for everyone. And I think I think it's like almost like, oh, you can become anything you want, and people are trying, and it's not always like that. Some people can, and some people, there's a lot involved. Yes. Put in the effort, visualize it happening, be open to opportunity, but you can do all of that, and sometimes it doesn't come to fruition.
Yeah, or it just takes forever. It takes 10 years or something. It takes a long, way longer time.
But what happens if you've got to put food on the table in the meantime for a family?
Then you got to do the shit you don't want to do.
Then you do what you need. But I'm saying a step further. Do the stuff you don't want to do, and look at it the way you're looking at bar backing.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, turn it into a this is noble. I'm cleaning the street for a better cause, and that is to not be a thief and to support my wife and my child.
Right.
And that is noble. That is noble. You just by doing that, you better than half of the people in the world. You know.
I mean, there's things you can do there that yeah, exactly. Like you can practice things. Like I practice social situations all the time because I'm there. I'm already there, and I might as well. Like I remember the other day, there was these two fucking knockouts, two fucking beautiful women from I don't even know where, some different country. And I was sitting there, I was like bar backing, and I remember we had like made eye contact a couple of times, and I was like, fuck, dude, I should go like try this out. Like they were like beyond, like I've talked to a lot of hot girls because I grew up in a school where everyone was beautiful, so I'm not particularly uncomfortable around girls, but these girls were like supermodels. And I just walked up and I said some bullshit about an espresso martini and the fact that I come in the other day, and within like 30 seconds, we were in a full-fledged out conversation about the Olympic National Park up the street because they're visiting from some other place. And I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. And like, that's the way I look at it. Is like, there's a lot of social playing that I do in the playground. There's a lot of cool different people in the area, customers, employees, staff. And I'm just like observing again, like kind of how I was in school, like observing like who's around, like what their behaviors are like, different things I can try out, different like prompts, icebreakers, things like that. Like I do that shit all the time with people. And it's a bonus. Like, there's tons of people there, tons of beautiful staff people. Like it's a great time, and there's always ways to turn into positive.
Hold on, did you end up saying when you get off you're going to take them to show them around the city a bit?
They have to leave that day. It sucked. But it's okay. Yeah. There's a bunch of cool people who work there.
You see, and I've no doubt the night before you were visualizing these two supermodels, and it never came to fruition. They had to leave that day. Sometimes
had to leave.
Sometimes life says, "Hold on, you're not in control," regardless of what you think.
And the goal of that was not to hang out with them. The goal was to see if I could make a conversation out of nothing.
I know. I'm just bringing it around.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I hope for as long as possible, your reality of when I visualize it always comes true, and if things go to plan, I hope that continues forever. I really do. But I remember for me when that changed, how it shattered my world. When I realized that it doesn't always work like that.
Right.
And you can plan and do everything perfectly, and sometimes God just says, no, it's not going to work this way. This is how it's going to work. And it really, really had a huge long-term impact on me. So hopefully you never experienced, but I think
I'm down to experience it. I'm down to experience it. The benefit of social media is that everyone's already done it online in front of me. I watched Logan Paul put everything into this boxing thing and then get fucking beaten by KSI. I couldn't even like come to terms with the fact that he lost. I could not believe he lost because he put so much intention. He called it out. He manifested. He like documented the whole journey. I was in on it. And I was like, dude, Logan Paul is going to like, it's going to be insane. And he's going to like motivate all these kids and be an inspiration. It's going to be so cool. Like all he's got to do is just knock out KSI round, like the second fight. It's going to be insane. And then they got to the end of the thing. It ended up going to a decision by the judges, split decision. KSI wins. And I remember he goes KSI's over here with his hand up. KSI's over here with his hands up, and they're all like about to say, okay, like here's the winner. And they go, from the United Kingdom. And I remember being like, and like I remember Logan just literally like disbelief, and like everyone was just like, a lot of people were excited, but like for me, like I was so invested in that journey, and I could not believe that he put all this stuff in to win. And then he lost. I was like, what? Like it was unbelievable. So I'm ready for those things. I know they're gonna come. And there's times where I trust me, it fucking fails. And I'm like, wow. I guess I don't think about it too much. That I just know that with intentional work, more often than not, I can, if not anything, it'll just build me up more as a character and a
No,
personality.
for sure.
You know,
So I'll tell you the story because there's only my story a bit because there's only 6 people. Not many people will watch this to the end. So I feel, and I've seen the guys who are commenting. I know
I appreciate
almost
you
all of
guys.
them. So I feel, you know, that I can be a little bit vulnerable. So I'll tell you, everything was going according to plan in my life. You know, I was very much like you, Kate. Um, I'll say in my early 20s, very, very much like you. I was also had long blonde hair, not as long as yours, but also long, down like this. I might have I'll show you a
Yeah,
picture
you got a
behind me
photo?
just to set
Yeah, go find that photo.
set the stream. I mean,
Damn, guys, Philip is gonna find the
This-
true alpha here.
no. So this isn't the best photo of me. There's definitely better ones. It's just one in arm's reach just to show you the hair. But you can see,
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
yeah, man. That's
Wow.
yeah, man. I was a player, man, a ladies boy or whatever. But everything had gone according
That's
to the way.
funny.
If I wanted a job as a waiter somewhere, I got that job.
Yeah,
If I wanted a girl, 99% of the time I got the girl.
right.
Everything went to plan. And then, you know, Bianca and I got married. That was planned. Amazing. And you know, about 2 or 3 years into marriage, Bianca really I wanted children also, but she was ready for children, and I potentially wasn't. And that's what I was saying. That that's one of the things I had in mind. At some point, you're not going to be 100% ready for everything all the time.
Yeah.
If you're 90% ready, it's the time to do it. Because if you overanalyze it, you'll never do it. So, you know, we've been married maybe 2 or 3 years. I think 3 years. And we had traveled extensively. I already had Perkel for a while. I was quite successful. We went all the way around Europe. We went all the way to the States. We went to a Caribbean cruise for 2 weeks all around there. We went to Thailand. We really enjoyed a lot, and because we knew when we started having children, we weren't going to have an opportunity to do those sort of things. So I get very, very busy at work over this period of time. November, December in promotional products are very, very busy. So I said, look, let's plan to have a child, but let's do it that, you know,
So it's not
we
that
have
exact
the
time.
child over December, January, February, rather
Right.
than October, November, December. So that's what we did. We went to a family planner and look, this is when and this is how and whatever. And we started trying to fall pregnant, and we fell pregnant immediately, which you'll realize is actually quite rare.
Yeah.
We didn't know at the time that it was rare. And of course, that's how things work for me. You know, we plan and it works. So now we're pregnant. The babies are due the end of December, early January. Amazing. Everything's going to plan like it always does. Of course.
Oh boy.
We go for a scan about a month or 6 weeks into Bianca being pregnant. And the lady says, look, there's 2 twins. So hold on, I never planned for twins. That wasn't in the plan. You know, also, that's a bit hectic. Okay, double blessing. You know, both Bianca and I were shocked. Great. We go for a scan a couple of weeks later. Look, there's 2, and one of them's got a heart condition, a problem with their heart, right? I need you to go immediately to go see a pediatric cardiologist, but there's a problem at least with one of the hearts, okay? Yeah. We now go, we have to wait for 2 days to get an appointment, which was like hell. We go to this cardiologist who scans in Bianca's tummy, and he says, look, you know, they both have heart conditions. Okay, both of your babies have got heart conditions. This is very common with identical twins. Just to give a statistic, 1 out of 3 sets will have a heart problem. Wow. Whereas if you just a single baby, 1 out of 100 single babies will have a heart problem. So there's definitely some correlation between identical twins. Now, identical twins themselves are high risk. Like really, you can lose both. If you lose one, you lose both because they share a placenta, whatever. So those 9 months were absolute hell. Not knowing if we would get through it, not knowing if we'd have any babies to show for it. You know, I've got letters that I've never looked at that I wrote when Bianca was still pregnant, saying like, if you guys can, please hold out, and I promise you I'll look after you. If you can't, I understand. If you need to know, we thought we were going to lose them. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they were born, and Danny's heart condition was very, very serious. And it's such a long story, but 3 months into his life, he had open heart surgery. And that was the most true. First of all, just to go back, they were 6 weeks premature. They came in November, my busiest time. Okay, just to go back. I mean, just that's the one thing. So now there's two, and it came in the busiest time, and now we got heart conditions. So now my new baby, I'm a new dad. My 3-month-old is in ICU on tubes and ventilators and God knows what. That you have to sign a thing before that. He might end up paralyzed. Like the most terrible things. I'm a new dad. Bianca's sleeping at the hospital. I'm looking after this other baby, 3-month-old, who's sensing that his brother's not there. Both of us just crying our eyes out every night. I don't know. I can't breastfeed a child. I mean, it was just an absolute nightmare. That whole year, Danny was backwards and forwards from ICU, would get him home, and then he'd go blue and would have to run to the hospital. That puncture his lungs. He came back on oxygen. It was a fucking nightmare. My whole life was turned upside down. And somehow we got through that first year of hell, backwards and forwards to hospital. Bianca and I barely sleeping, and one of us at the hospital. I don't even know. I don't even remember working. I did, but I've no idea. And then after we sort of got through it, and Danny's still on a lot of medicine now, and we've got that stress of him always with his heart, but when it sort of got okay, that he was no longer on oxygen at home and the medicines were sort of right, at that stage, when it all sank in what had happened, I mean, I just fell to pieces, bro. I really did. And I'm a strong guy. And so I'm just saying, like, they're my biggest blessings. All my children, my 3 children, my wife. I'm a family guy. That is my thing. And I wouldn't change it. If you said to me, look, this is what you'd have to go through in order to have these beautiful children and wife, I would do it. But that's not what we planned. And we're still dealing with the effects of them being so prim. They're in remedial school where, they're still struggling to read and write at 9 years old. They've been in occupational therapy, OT, and speech for 9 solid years. It's a full-time thing, and I wouldn't change it. I'm just saying sometimes we make plans and God laughs. And God sees the bigger picture. I think everything is for the better in the bigger picture. Like we're seeing one piece of a puzzle, one small piece of a big puzzle. And we're looking at this. We don't even know that it's part of a tree. It just looks green. And one day when we pass on, we look and we can see the whole puzzle. And we understand, look, we had to go through that with Danny because of X, Y, Z. But sometimes in this world, you don't get that understanding of why you had to go through certain things. And despite everything and all the best intentions and best planning, and it sometimes God laughs when we make plans, and that's what it is. And that's what I was thinking of when I was saying, you got to know that there's curveballs, even no matter what. And for a guy like me who was always used to things going the way I planned them, that shock of not being in control and realizing after that what do I have control over? And struggling with that, knowing that I don't have control that I thought I had, and that it's out of my control, was very tough and a big adjustment for me,
Yeah, dude, that's fucking powerful. Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure the people who are watching were probably like, fuck. That's fucking crazy, dude. That is super crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was.
Well, if that's not motivation for
that's
you,
a bit depressing.
no, it's not depressing. Not depressing. It's just it's just lots of power. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. I mean, you were on top of the world, got completely fucked over. So I mean, that's a weird way to say that, but like everything went against you for a while, and that's just how it was. But now you're even more of a dope guy, more of a like a genuine guy. You probably have way more security within yourself because you survived something as big as that, with something that has that much gravity to it. It's not just some little thing or even like a business, it's like, that's like your offspring. So
and
either way,
Bianca and I often say to each other during like sort of tough times, I often say, look, we don't know how we got through that first year, but if we can get through that, we can get through anything. And that's the truth, because really, I've never experienced anything like that. And like being touch and go. I mean, thinking, and bro, you got to sign these things before he goes into hospital. Then, before he has the operation, then they say to you, look, and we knew none of this. Which one of the parents is going in the operating theater? So we both look at each other like, what do you mean? They're like, no, one of you has to go in while we put him under so that he doesn't get freaked out. So obviously, like, I'm the husband, I'm the dad, so I go in. Bro, having to look at your child thinking, is this the last time I'm going to see him? And he's looking at me in my eyes like, Dad, what is going on? And I have to try reassure him with my eyes that it's going to be okay when I don't know that it's going to be okay. Damn. And I did that. And the second he was under, so the second that gas put him under, I just collapsed in that theater. Like I was like was smiling as if everything was okay. Once I know that I'd done my job, they had to carry me out of there. I mean, I thought I would never see him again. Honestly and truly, it was just absolute hell. Dude, but I've got a beautiful boy. I've got to show you a picture of them now, because it is a feel-good story. I've got 3 beautiful boys to show for it.
Dude.
I need to find a recent picture. Otherwise, it's just...
If you're watching this, even click that like button. Click that like button for that story. That's fucking inspirational.
I don't even care about the likes, man. This is Danny. He's now 9. He's my boy with the heart condition. And here's his twin brother. Wow, they're looking like big boys now.
They get along?
Yeah, beautifully. And they're so nice. I mean, obviously they fight all day, but when push comes to shove, they look after each other. This is his twin Jake, and then this is my 6-year-old little Raffy Doodle. And he's an amazing boy. He thinks he's a triplet. You know, he wants to do whatever.
Tell me that. Yeah.
That's he wants funny, to do whatever his brothers do. And he's such a brilliant boy now, because literally, if they're able to ride their bike, 5 years ago, he learns to ride his bike, even though he's 3 years behind them. He's doing everything that they do. His brothers can't swim and him not swim,
That's hilarious. Dude, listen, I got to head out of here. I have a meeting in like 4 or 5 minutes here, but this is a great fucking episode. And for people who are watching, I feel like we just dropped serious fucking NFT life and all alpha, business alpha, all the things. So that was great, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you all got value on many levels. Kate, thank you as always, and we'll see you next week for another amazing show.
Peace, guys. Subscribe.
Ciao.